Hello, Professor. Today I will present about my Capstone project meeting summarization system. So we will follow the agenda as in the written paper. Start with executive summary. So as you may know, nowadays many tech companies start moving resources from high cost center like the US to a lower cost center in Asia in order to cut the cost and help make the financial balance look better. As you can see from the news, several news from Google, like how companies like Twitter, Meta, Oracle, or Apple are doing that to relocating position to lower cost or even less signing job offer. However, also this might look that it can help financial balance the company. It have many impact to the employee. Employee need to attend late night meeting. There are no cohesion, not a good way to collaborate, worse work-life balance, and also ineffective meeting result in a hard or difficult way to keep track of the meeting. Some people start watching meeting recording from the previous night in order to keep track of the project. However, this is not the ideal solution. In order to mitigate or alleviate this problem, I propose this project, the Smart AI meeting summarization system, which can help solve this problem. Let's look at this in more details. So I would like to start with an example from one data science department that trying to build a fraud model. So you can see in this one project, there are three main locations involved. One data scientist in San Jose, one platform engineer in Singapore, and one researcher in India. There are many things to keep track of because it's highly technical work. What is timeline with a new feature? There need to be some cohesion to make the project run smoothly, to optimize productivity. However, in reality, is that there are a lot of silos and miscommunication that resulting in efficiency or even additional costs as shown by the research. And also, most of the time, it will delay the project overall as compared to people working in the same location. So this is where the AI system came in. It provides summary, proactive reminder, and question answering system, which we will go into detail in the later slide. Just to give you another example, another problem is that even before the meeting, there are several problems. Most of the time, there's lack clear agenda and objective, which is cited as one of the factors that result in the ineffective meeting. So by using this AI system, it can help us to outline the structure of the meeting better and also prepare the documentation in advance to make sure that everyone know what should be the main point of discussion of the meeting. And after this discussion is done, it will help us to be more focused and understand what should be the follow-up item of the meeting. To summarize in terms of business justification, why we should support this type of system, first, I would like to mention that by having the key points summarized, this will highly benefit employee in the sense that they can save time from watching recording and can catch up with the project right away. Secondly, the AI system can provide action item and follow-up item, which can improve collaboration and streamline the project better. Lastly, overall, the project can result in quicker project delivery, resulting in bottleneck and get more cohesion of the project, and also reduce the cost saving. Help us save more costs as it improve productivity gains. Now let's look at some of the background of the summarization domain. So to begin with, summarization domain is actually not something new. It's been studied for the past 5 to 6 years already, but it's not as good yet when there's no large language model. So in the past, people study extractive summarization, abstractive summarization, which you fed in the model with some passage or some conversation that can be very, very long. And in terms of extractive summarization, it might extract part of it. Part of it means consecutive part of the article as a final result, or abstractive summarization, which might paraphrase the word a little bit, but the result is still pretty hard to control or cannot be very accurate depending on how the model was trained. However, with the rise of large language model, aspect-based summarization gain a lot of momentum and are deemed to be one of the most promising way to do summarization, which we'll cover in a later slide. Just to give you an example of what have been done in the past, there are also some study that using aspect-based summarization, as you can see from this study from QM Sum paper. You can see that in the sense that traditionally we can summarize the whole meeting, you get the result, or you can ask specific aspect of it. Let's say summarize the discussion about the trend of this particular topic, or ask a question on top of your meeting transcript to get the result. So in the past, this had been done before, but in terms of the model architecture and the technical advancement there is not good enough. So the result is not ideal yet as compared to if it's done in 2023. And these are some of the work that explore this type of methodologies. Just to give you a quick glimpse of how it's normally done in the past. So there normally some data and then there is some summary, which is most of the time manually annotated. And people need to train the model to make sure that, okay, given this type of input, it will output this type of summary. So imagine if the summary is not something that's relevant to you, or it's not something, it will always miss something that's important. So the model is not good in that case. So that's why the trained data in the past is very crucial. And it's pretty hard to adopt one model to use in another domain. So that's kind of the bottleneck. However, with the rise of large language model, it's getting easier and easier. You can just prompt the model if it's well trained on different domains of data. And there are many alternatives out there, as you can see from the list here. Although some open source might not be as good as GPT-4, but they are on the same par and can be completely free from commercial use, as you can see from this leaderboard. Just to summarize, there's three types of summarization: extractive, abstractive, aspect-based. Some are easy to use, some are more flexible. You can see pro and cons here. I'm probably not going to all the detail, but I think we'll probably focus more on the aspect-based summarization, which is the main highlight. Can really use it to solve the main bottleneck or the meeting summarization problem I propose in this project. And in terms of deployment, just to quickly go through it, there's one aspect we need to take care of. Even if we deploy on the cloud, it can be pretty hard to do it in terms of the cost and also data privacy. But given the rise of open source model, it can be done quite easily in a self-host environment to protect the data privacy and give more flexibility to the company. However, there's some caveat here that in terms of maintenance and the expansion might be a bit harder comparing to cloud service, because the company need to take care of that. So there are both pros and cons how we should to deploy this AI summarization system. So in terms of decision criteria, we care about voting efficiency, how good is the integration, the latency of the service, accuracy. Does the model hallucinate? Does it give accurate result, or does it make up some facts from the meeting transcript? In terms of cost effectiveness, is it better to use open source model, self-hosted in-house, or using ChatGPT API by leveraging OpenAI solution directly? So that's another aspect we need to consider. And lastly, in terms of user experience, how's the user over time? What does it really increase productivity? We need to track those metrics closely in order to decide whether we want to expand this project further. These are the four main criteria. In terms of project design, let's start with the first part of the system, which is to transcribe the meeting audio file. Also, there are already some built-in functionality in this tool. Still, there are tools that can help us to gain more accuracy from this. So in this project design, I propose we have a configurable file that people can use to configure what type of algorithm we use to pass the audio file to text data, and also have the merging capability, which can help us to merge a long series of meeting, which is often the case for large-scale project, so that it can merge meeting together and we can get a more comprehensive view of the meetings. And as a result, this will be stored as a text file in the database for each project, which will be the source data of the summarization system. So this, as you can see here, the transcription error vary across the vendor. So that's why I propose us also to explore additional algorithms so that to further enhance the quality of the transcription. So the second part of the system is on the meeting summarization. So given the meeting transcript from the previous step, it's fed in the component that can configure whether we want to use default summarization or use aspect-based summarization. These are configurable parameters. And in the model repository, there will be several types of model, GPT-3, 4, Bard from Google, or other open source model like Llama from Meta, which can help us to pick which one is the best for each use case, and that it will output the result to the user directly and store in the database. So that's kind of the flow of this project. Just to give you an example, this is exploring open source alternative to GPT. So this is one of the ways you can prompt it to do aspect-based summarization by strictly force the model to answer the below question. What's the main topic? What's the action item? What's the blocker? And also you can even add condition if certain items are not mentioned in the meeting, please add a comment not mentioned. So when you review this meeting, you can have a better view of the meeting and understand what needs to be further clarified in the next meeting, which is extremely helpful. And once this process is done, there's also a question answering part where the meeting summary is stored in a vector database, and user can interact with this vector database to get the answer they are looking for a specific part of the meeting. It's stored in this vector database where this is the schema, meeting ID, transcript for an item, and summary are stored in there. People can use natural language to interact with this vector database to get the result back if they want to find or query information from the past meeting. And lastly, there are also follow-ups and reminder functionality because according to research from Koshi, follow-up and reminder are one of the most important factors for effective meeting. So given the data stored in vector database, we have a configuration to send reminder on action item to relevant people within certain period of time, depending on the configuration. I think this will be a very helpful functionality to the system. In terms of implementation, just one page here to list out the time it takes for each component. Overall, it takes about 20 weeks. I will go through it quickly. We have the meeting transcription, exploring potential ways to transcript data, exploring summarization technique we can use, what are some of the question answering components we can use in the system, testing and deploying follow-up reminder functionality, integrating with backend, and also front end where user can try asking questions to the past meeting. And then we have final testing and deployment. And lastly, we also had online evaluation where we look at the result from the model and see how accurate it is or if there is any hallucination. And lastly, ongoing maintenance. 4 things, technical support, because prompting or asking questions to the LM is not simple. So we need to have some technical support by having good documentation for user. We have recovery plan. What if the service is down? How we do monitor the log and storage of the data. Server management. This model requires GPU. How we manage GPU for computing the result in natural language. And lastly, hallucination. how do we monitor large language model result and use it as a feedback loop to improve the model. The last step might require some annotation or some manual review to ensure the quality of the model is acceptable over time. Conclusion, so in this project, I propose the AI assist meeting tool with self-functionality to help with the meetings across time zone. And this is powered by large language model, which is highly flexible. I also propose implementation plan and alternatives that can help business to decide whether they want to do in-house or using vendors, and also the potential business impact and that it can improve efficiency of the meeting of large corporate. And that's the reference of this project. So I hope that will help persuade you to invest in this project, and that will be the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.